It is on. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Hello?
Pretty sure it's on. I think it's on. All right. So who are you? I would introduce you, but I'm afraid I can't do so unbiased.
Hold on one second. I'm actually getting into the stream here.
Right. Okay. I can hear myself speak now, which is the worst thing in the world. Oh, now you can hear yourself speak. I can hear you hearing yourself speak. This is great.
Hold on. I need to adjust my microphone. It's a pain in the ass hearing myself.
You could just mute the stream, alternatively.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what are we debating? Should we let the chat debate it, or do you want me to introduce myself?
Introduce yourself and we'll get there.
All right. 32 years old. I'm a CPA. Name Primitive Archer and Long Rifle are because I make longbows and long rifles. Pennsylvania long rifles.
Okay. You live in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's neat. You grew up there?
Yeah, between Pennsylvania and Wyoming.
Oh. Interesting. Not many people juggle those two states, but you seem to do it and live to tell the tale. Where do you live now? Still in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm back in Pennsylvania now.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to debate? You come to my videos, you throw a lot of hoo-ha in my direction. So you must have a lot that you would like to talk about. I'd like to go for like maybe an hour at most. So keep that in mind, though I'm free to do another one of these, but let's try to keep it not too long.
All right. Well, I think you misunderstand what Marxism and fascism both are.
Okay.
So why don't we start with what is your definition of fascism and what is your definition of Marxism?
Fascism is a totalitarian government that enacts a system of policies that discriminate against certain people with the effort to elevate others, I would say, to be as generic as possible. Marxism is the idea that every human being matters and every human being should be treated like a human and not like a slave or a dog or a cow. The idea that human beings should all have guaranteed rights to healthcare, guaranteed economic rights, not have to work for bosses. They're allowed to work for themselves, that kind of stuff. The whole idea of seizing the means of production from the capitalist class echoes in Marxist thought.
Okay, then why has Marxism never done that? Because it has led to totalitarian, authoritarian dictatorships in every single case.
Okay.
And like we'll use the Soviet Union as far as elevating everyone. No, they elevated Russians while literally starving anyone that wasn't Russian to death.
Okay. If you're asking me why people can take an ideology and do what they want with it, that's not in that ideological way, I don't know. I wasn't alive during the Soviet Union. That shit fell apart before I was born.
Let me rephrase it. What is the difference between fascism and communism in application?
Well, communism is a state of society where there are no masters. It is a stateless society where all people are treated equally and there are no vertical hierarchies. So the difference between communism and fascism, I guess, is theoretically that non-white people in communism.
No, I mean, as it was implemented, as fascism was implemented in the 20th century, and as communism was implemented in the 20th century, how did they apply differently? They literally did the exact same things.
Okay.
Like,
so is your definition of communism the Soviet Union? Like whatever the Soviet Union did is communism?
No, they never made it to full communism because it's not an achievable goal.
Right.
They were socialist, I would describe them, and it was untenable.
Okay. So how do you feel about American citizens having free healthcare, guaranteed healthcare paid by tax dollars? How do you feel about that?
It would have to be done correctly. There's a way to do it, but
would you call that socialist?
No.
Okay, then what would you identify as socialism?
Well, socialism would lead to government control of business.
Well, what is socialism? Like, define that for me. I defined Marxism for you, so define socialism.
I mean, socialism is Marxism. There's no difference.
Okay, so define Marxism for me.
It is basically the belief that workers should control the work. There should be no private property.
Right.
There should be no different economic classes. There should not be an upper class, a middle class, a lower class. And all of that shit sounds great, but it does
sounds like
not
you're a
work.
commie. Sounds like you're a commie. You said that sounds great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Except it doesn't work in reality because it doesn't work. Every time it has been tried, it has led to a totalitarian dictatorship that's killed tens of millions of people every time.
Okay. How do you feel about nuclear power?
I think it is probably the energy of the future.
Oh, really? Because it didn't work. We tried it a few times and had some explosions that caused certain areas of the world to be radioactive. So it doesn't work.
Oh, no, it works great.
No, it doesn't work.
We just need to keep
working
on it.
Interesting how those two things are different. When it comes to socialism working, you just say Soviet Union. That's your argument. When it comes to nuclear power, it's like, oh,
it's not just the Soviet Union. I mean, you can use
it's not just
China. You can use Venezuela. You can use Cuba. You can use Vietnam. China's not communist.
No, they're a state capitalist regime.
What's the name of the ruling party in China?
What's the name of the ruling party in the United States?
The Republican Party.
Okay.
In China, what's the CCP stand for?
What do they stand for?
Oh, is it the Chinese Communist Party?
So you think calling yourself something makes it true?
No, they didn't fully implement communism
right.
because it's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Well, why isn't it possible? Do you think it's because of state corruption?
Human greed, human nature.
Human nature. Human nature is... What is human nature? To kill other people and take their stuff? That's human nature?
No, but socialism and communism, they take all incentive out of bettering yourself. Like that,
do they?
You cannot. There's no way to become a millionaire in socialism, no matter how hard you work.
The idea of socialism, with the wealth that we have on this planet, everybody would be millionaires in terms of actual wealth to each person.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Do you know how much wealth there is?
That's so ridiculous. I'm not even going to debate it.
Do you know what the total global wealth is?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay.
And that can be manipulated so easily. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
My point is that there has never been a successful implementation of socialism or communism in the world, ever.
I have a successful implementation of communism for you.
That did not lead to the deaths of hundreds of thousands or millions of people?
0 people have died.
Okay, and I don't want to hear some bullshit like you like your public roads. That's socialism. No, give me a country.
No. My house is socialist.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
No, give me an example of a socialist country.
Why are we talking about countries? Why can't we talk about communes? Why can't we talk about all this stuff?
Because you are trying to bring Marxism to this country.
I'm trying to bring Marxism not to the country, to the people.
Okay, the people of the country.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Why would it be any different in America than it was in USSR or China or Vietnam or Cuba?
We would have different leaders. Korea. The idea of communism. First of all,
why would our leaders not be corrupt?
Right.
Are Americans just not corrupt?
So I'm an anarchist, which means I'm very skeptical of state power. And the entire thing of what you're talking about is a state did something bad, therefore everything you say is terrible. I don't like states. I think we should abolish the state. I think if we all just, dealt with ourselves in our own little groups and communities and helped each other out in those groups and communities and didn't go to other groups and communities, kill them all and steal their stuff, we'd be in a lot better of a position right now.
So you want to revert back to like a pre-medieval lend and barter society?
No.
Okay, then I don't understand.
How do you feel about automation?
I have mixed feelings on it.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing we can do to stop it. It's coming.
Right. There's nothing we can do to stop it. So, what are you going to do when you can't go to work because your work is taken over by a robot? What are you going to do?
That'll never happen.
Oh, it'll never happen. Okay. What about your neighbor?
Okay, not in my lifetime. That won't happen.
Okay. What about your neighbor?
What about him?
You're 32. You're not that much older than me.
Yeah, what about?
And if I guarantee you, we're not reading the same news. But the news I'm reading, it will definitely, unless you have like any sort of disease.
I'm glad you just said that, because here's the thing about reading the news.
Right.
Right-wing people read news. Left-wing, right-wing, middle of the road.
Right.
There is a tendency among left-wingers to live in an echo chamber where they read leftist news.
Right.
They comment on leftist stuff.
Of course.
And they're not. They are not willing to even hear the other side.
Right. That's why I'm debating you right now, and I cover right-wing conspiracies all the time. Right. So anyway, how do you feel about automation? What happens if your neighbor can't work? Do they lose their house?
You know what? I don't really think that that's a problem my generation or even my kids are going to have to deal with. It's not.
Okay. But
there's much more major problems to be addressed than automation. That might be a problem in the 22nd century.
Okay. And we shouldn't talk about that at all? Because my thing is,
I'm not
planning to achieve communism tomorrow. Communism will not be achieved in my lifetime, no. But we can take the steps to get there. Just like the people in the 1920s that were communists took the steps to get the New Deal. Now, the New Deal was a compromise, right? It left a lot of people down. But the New Deal, Social Security is pretty good for people right now. So, I mean, hey, if I can help make my kids or my kids' kids have a better life, that's fine with me. You, on the other hand, don't seem too concerned. Why is that?
Oh, I'm definitely concerned. Our ideas of how to have better lives for our children are just way different.
Okay.
Like, I teach my children to work hard,
and
be financially responsible.
When your children teach their children to work hard and there's no work because robots took over everything, how's that going to work?
Well, they're probably going to be fucked then, and they'll just have to move to Mars. But
okay, so you just don't care about that future scenario?
I just think there's much more pressing issues.
Okay,
like that's like worrying about cutting your lawn while your house is burning down.
Okay, so our house is burning down. How so?
No, it's an analogy.
Okay.
But I don't.
So you don't believe in automation. My theory of communism implies that automation will eliminate all menial tasks. Now, we have two options there, right? We can either choose to have a socialist or communist society where everyone reaps the benefits of the automation, or we can choose to have a society where we have a ruling class of aristocrats that invented all the machines. And by invented, that means they paid for someone else to invent that machine and just own the patent to it, because that's how capitalism works. And they will be the ruling aristocrats over our country and turn us into slaves. Because if we can't work, we can't feed ourselves. If we can't feed ourselves, we can't live. So we'll have to be reliant on them for survival. Those are two options in the next 100 years.
And here you are worrying about a hypothetical situation that might happen in the next 100 years.
Hypothetical? Automation is hypothetical?
No, what you just said is a hypothetical result of automation.
Well, it's just automation. Like if we are on the same path that we are now, do you know that about 30 to 40% of jobs that were lost in the last year during the pandemic will not come back due to automation? Have you seen Walmarts tear out all of their checkout lines and just have self-checkout everywhere? Automation is already happening. Just because you don't read the news or don't go outside doesn't mean it's not real.
I never said automation isn't real.
Well, you said it was like 22nd century. You said it would be like 200 years when it's happening right now.
22nd century is 800 or 80 years from now.
Okay.
Like, it's not far in the future.
Okay.
But there's so many more pressing issues.
All right, so let's reframe. What's more pressing? Like, what is the most important issue of our life right now at this moment?
The direction the country is going to go in.
Okay.
I mean, we can go. We've done great for basically the entire existence of the country. There was bad shit, slavery, oppression, right. And we're working through that.
Overall, pretty great, though.
Yeah. I mean, we don't.
Those are,
You're the one that's voting for Joe Biden, who was a supporter of Jim Crow laws and called Senator Byrd a Klansman and segregationist, his friend and mentor.
Dude, you don't understand. I was a Bernie supporter in the primary. I knew all this stuff way before you even knew who Biden was. So, so Jim Crow was great. So America was overall pretty great, in your opinion?
No, I just said there was bad things. There was
so it was great, but simultaneously not great. Interesting. Okay.
In the context of what was going on across the world, it's not like the world was some great place and America was specifically doing atrocious shit.
Adolf Hitler got a lot of the outlines of Nazi Germany from Jim Crow USA, right?
You know where else they got most of the outlines? Karl Marx.
Ooh, yeah. Appeasing to popular ideals and then blaming all the problems on a certain sect of people. That's totally what Karl Marx did. Right. It's almost like Karl Marx's ideology is popular. And when you can convince a majority of people to want popular things, that they will want popular things, right? Because that's how things go.
But here's the thing. Marxism is not popular among anyone who's ever lived under Marxism.
Right. Okay. But you said earlier, communism was never achieved. So no one's lived under Marxism. So how was that? So all zero of those people?
No, Marxism is not communism.
Well, you said earlier that Marxism and communism are the same thing. Did you not?
Have you read the Communist Manifesto? I mean,
No.
You would play... Really? You have not read the Communist Manifesto?
No.
And you're a Marxist?
Yep.
That's odd.
I'm allowed to read other kinds of books. I don't have to source all my literature from hundreds of years ago.
I mean, you would think you would read the book that your political philosophies are based on, but we'll leave that aside.
My political philosophies are not based on a book. They're based on the idea that all human beings are equal and all human beings matter, and that humanity as a concept is a magical thing, and we should work to promote it as much as possible.
Oh, so you support the U.S. Constitution because you basically just quoted the preamble.
I support maybe the words of the U.S. Constitution that do not include rich white land owning, slave owning men. Those clauses maybe I disagree with. But I think the U.S. Constitution has some decent ideas. You want to talk about that?
Well, those rich white slave owning men, the last one has been dead for 100 years or more.
Cool.
So what does that have to do with 2020?
Well, you said America was pretty great.
Yeah, it was great. All right,
so let's talk about the direction of the country, because we're not saying anything here. So the direction of the country is the most important thing. Not, I don't know, a pandemic. Nah, that's whatever. Fuck it. Not poverty. Fuck it. Child starvation. Fuck it. Climate crisis. Fuck it. It's the direction of the country.
You want to talk about child starvation? Okay, there's no one starving to death in the United States. It doesn't happen. No one starved to death.
Okay, cool. So
tens of thousands of people are starving to death in Venezuela right now.
Awesome. So what's the most important thing in your calculation? There's no such thing as starving children. So now that we've got that out of the way, what is your most important thing? The country, the direction of the country, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
We have to stop the dangerous ideologies that killed 100 million people in the last.
What dangerous ideologies?
Marxism, socialism.
Well, is that on the ballot?
Pretty much.
Is it? You just said Joe Biden supported Jim Crow laws. Doesn't seem like a Marxist to me.
Nobody thinks Biden is going to have any kind of power. Nobody thinks Biden is going to actually be the president if elected.
Right. Okay. Nobody thinks
he's a senile old man. Everyone knows he's losing it. The man can't run the country.
Right. Okay.
Like Nancy Pelosi brought up the 25th Amendment 2 weeks ago.
And Nancy Pelosi's a Marxist?
It was not about removing Trump. It was about removing Biden in April or May if he's elected.
Is Kamala Harris a Marxist?
She is the most left-wing senator in the Senate. She is further left than Bernie on voting. She is voted further left than Bernie Sanders.
My favorite part about these debates is you all cite the same statistics that have been debunked so many times. Like, do you know what the most left voting record is based on? Do you know what that's based on? It's based on Democratic consensus. That's what they consider the most left. And Kamala Harris falls in line. She's a typical Democrat, and she votes with Democratic consensus more often than Bernie Sanders, who is lefter than the Democrats and would vote against things because he wants a lefter approach. So no, Kamala Harris is not more to the left than Bernie Sanders. You should start reading past the headlines.
Oh, no, Kamala Harris is all but a fascist, but her voting record is left of Bernie. I mean, she thinks it's okay to keep people on death row and withhold exonerating evidence and keep people in prison past their sentence so they can be cheap firefighters. She's done a lot.
So that's Marxism?
She literally slept her way into politics.
And that's far. You're simultaneously saying Kamala Harris is a far-right lunatic and a Marxist. You realize how ridiculous that is, right?
But she is saying she wants to implement these things.
Right. What things is she saying?
The Second Amendment. Go on.
She wants to implement the Second Amendment?
No, she wants to get rid of it.
She does. Okay. How so? Do you have an article for that?
You can Google it and pull up 100 of them.
All right, cool. I'm going to do that right now.
What about the taxes on firearms? They want you to register every gun you own, and you have to pay an annual tax on each gun.
Okay.
That's not okay.
That's not okay? Okay.
Congress shall pass no laws that infringe on the Second Amendment. It's in the Constitution.
Okay. Cool. You know what else is in the Constitution? Rich, white, land-owning males are the only ones that are allowed to vote. That's also in the Constitution.
Oh, was that amended though? I kind of feel like it was.
Right.
Rich
it was
white
amended.
males. I feel like they amended it as society.
The rich
evolved.
white males amended it. There was no Civil War or slave uprisings. No, it was just the rich white men were like, let's amend the Constitution. And then everyone was like, yeah, sounds like a good idea, right? There was no like Civil War, slave uprisings, millions and millions of people dying. They just, let's just amend this Constitution.
So women were given the right to vote because of the Civil War? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Are you saying black people were given the right to vote because of the Civil War?
As a result of, yes.
Really? So they were given the right to vote 100 years later as a result of the Civil War?
That's one of the reasons, yes. Do you know what happened about... Okay, so what? Give me your knowledge of the Civil War.
What, you want a full rundown of what it was about? Or what do you mean?
I want you, in your words, without looking anything up, telling me what the Civil War was about.
The Civil War was about states being able to make their own laws aside from the federal government.
Right, states' rights. See, you're following in Ronald Reagan's tradition. So what was the Civil War about? So they wanted their own rights, then what happened?
The Republicans said, no, you can't have slaves. You can have your own rights, but slavery is not okay.
Okay. And then they just decided, all right, let's amend the Constitution. Sounds like you got a good idea. What happened after that?
No, they didn't amend the Constitution. That didn't happen until 2.5 years into the actual war.
Okay. And there was a war. Explain the war. Why did the war happen?
Because the southern states felt like the federal government did not have the right to overrule their laws. So they seceded from their union.
And what laws? What laws?
Any laws.
Oh, any laws. Right. Okay. So it was like, you can't sell ice cream on Tuesday evening. Those are the laws that they fought the Civil War over. Not slaves. No. It wasn't slavery.
No.
Right.
Slavery was the big thing. Slavery was the big thing, obviously.
Okay. All right. So the war was about slavery then?
Well, yeah, nobody's denying that.
Okay.
But it wasn't a direct war of... The war was about slaves or no slaves. It was so much more than that. And it had been building up for 80 years before it actually started. Like the country was divided almost from its inception. And Andrew Jackson actually prevented the Civil War from happening in the 1820s.
Okay.
But the Civil War was bound to happen.
Okay. So let's talk about Kamala Harris again. So you think she's secretly a Marxist, but also a segregationist Jim Crow supporter, right? And that's why you should vote for Donald Trump? You're a Trump supporter, correct?
I'm an independent. I'm definitely voting for Trump.
Okay. So you're a Trump supporter. All right, awesome. So why are you voting for Donald Trump? What's going on here?
Why wouldn't I vote for Donald Trump? Okay.
That's a great question. We want to answer it?
In 2018, I made my first six-figure income. I didn't make six figures in 2019. I'm gonna definitely in 2020. The pandemic has been amazing for my business.
Oh my God. Thank you for that. I'm sorry, but thank you for that. I got to make sure. Hold up. What is that? That's 25 minutes. Thank you for that. That was amazing. That was like the most brazenly honest answer that anyone's ever said to that question. So yeah, fuck it. Yeah, the starving children, fuck them. Trans people not having health care, fuck them. 60% of renters losing their homes, fuck them. My salary, man. I got my salary. All right, cool. So your salary's going pretty well. Clearly, you live in a neighborhood without a housing crisis. So you're voting Trump, and you want Trump to do what? You're
right. There's definitely no housing crisis. I live in a really nice neighborhood.
No such thing. No one's ever been homeless in your neighborhood. So what do you want Donald Trump to do in the second term?
Revive the economy. We need to deal with China.
What does that mean? Deal with China? What does that mean?
The trade war. Like we still have our largest. It's ongoing. That's a ridiculous statement.
Okay.
Yeah, we still owe $4 trillion.
Okay, cool.
To communist China.
You know what the deficit was in 2020?
Yeah, the deficit's like 20 trillion. It's pretty high.
No, not the debt. The deficit in 2020.
Oh, it was a 6 point something.
It was $3 trillion. So you're saying we owe $4 trillion to communist China, not China, but communist China. Ooh, the Chi-Coms, right? And yet Donald Trump's pandemic response has cost us $3 trillion alone. If Donald Trump just maybe, I don't know, did a good pandemic response.
Oh, so you think he just blew $3 trillion and
that's what it seems like.
Really? Why?
Yeah. What do you mean, why? What was the CARES Act?
You tell me.
The CARES Act was passed to give everyone, not everyone, but people that could qualify. I live in a family of 7, and I was one of 2 people that got the CARES Act stimulus check. It really makes you think, huh? Right, so I didn't get $1,200. I shared it with my family, right? But it passed theoretically.
So 7 people in your of the 7 people you live with, 5 make more than $100,000 a year?
No.
Then why didn't they get a check? They should have.
Because of tax filings, and they decided to use 2018 tax deadlines for some reason. And a lot of people in my family were teenagers and didn't have jobs back then. But either way, so this didn't go to everyone. It also went to dead people, so a large waste of money. Now, are you familiar with these small business loans?
Of course, I'm a CPA.
Okay. Do you know
that's why my business is doing so well this year?
Right. Awesome. I'm happy for you. So did you know that most small business loans went to big corporations like Exxon that were just filing as small businesses, taking the money, which was basically a grant. It's a forgivable loan, right? So it's basically just free money that you can get, and they're just giving that to each other, right? Steve Mnuchin actually was the director of a lot of this stuff. The original CARES Act, one of the big problems with it is they wanted some sort of group of advisors to make sure that they were spending the money properly. And then Steve Mnuchin and Donald Trump are like, fuck it. And then they just didn't do that and gave all the money to the corporate billionaire friends. So $3 trillion wasted.
It's funny you speak about corporate billionaire friends when the overwhelming majority of corporate billionaires are supporting Biden.
Okay.
Explain that, please.
Biden is a corporatist. There you go. So now explain how Donald Trump is going to revive the economy.
The same way he has been. Like look at NAFTA versus the USMCA.
Right. They're both essentially the same thing, but one has Trump's name on it.
Okay, that's not true. Even Joe Biden says that the USMCA is a much better deal. Google it. You can watch him say it.
Okay, it's a better deal. That's why all the Democrats supported it. because it just wasn't exactly like NAFTA. But anyway, so he's going to revive the economy by passing another trade deal?
No, continuing what he was doing.
Okay. Well, the trade deal is already passed.
Putting tariffs,
so
putting the USMCA, yeah. We haven't accomplished anything with China. We haven't accomplished anything with North Korea or Iran. Those aren't economic issues, but they are waiting for the election.
So you're an imperialist then? Is that what this is? Like you're voting for Trump because you want world dominance?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you keep saying we need to deal with China, deal with Iran. Well, what does that mean? It sounds like an imperialist.
Deal with China means stop them taking economic advantage and technological advantage of our country. Like they steal our technology.
Oh, is that why they developed 5G way before us?
I don't really know who developed 5G. Right. That doesn't matter. But they steal our technology.
Is that why they have advanced infrastructure like light rail? Because they stole our technology?
Probably.
Right. Okay.
You talk about the millions of people in concentration camps in China?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because they stole our technology.
The philosophy you support has
I already told you
China's
not communist. I already told you that. China's not communist. That's not the philosophy I support. Trying to tie my identity to a country I don't live in is silly. It's dumb. I am more American than I am Chinese.
Okay, tell me what China is, if not communist.
China is a state capitalist regime, an imperial power.
A state capitalist regime?
Yes, an imperial power.
I don't think I would ever hear any Chinese workers saying that they live in a capitalist country.
A state capitalist.
I don't think any 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old working in a sweatshop making t-shirts is going to say they live in a free capitalist country.
I never said free capitalist country. I said state capitalist country, but okay, I like how you repeat what you said and ignored what I said. That was a very clever trick there, but it didn't work on me. Yeah, they are a state capitalist country. The state controls the flow of capital rather than private businesses controlling the flow of capital, which in the United States of America, yeah, I wonder if those people making $7 an hour working at an auto shop are thinking, oh, God bless that I live in the USA and get this free capitalism, working my ass off, breaking my bones for $7.25 an hour. Yeah, I'm sure that they're thinking anything. But yeah, so China's a state capitalist imperial hegemon, and they control the flow of capital in their country, and that's why they're able to exploit their workers, and that's why they're able to exploit technological growth. That's why they're able to advance before we are, because they have less civil rights and human rights for their citizens.
So why wouldn't that happen if those philosophies were implemented in America?
I don't want them to be implemented in America.
Okay, but you have to accept that is the direction it will go, because that is the direction it has always gone, without exception, literally no exception to that rule.
No exception.
Name me one. You can't.
Okay, my house.
A country. Your house isn't a fucking country.
I don't know. Bolivia,
there's not.
They just reelected socialists.
And Bolivia, I will bet you $100 will be the next Venezuela.
What?
Like, people are starving to death under a socialist dictator in Venezuela, and they won't let them leave. Like, they're forcing them to stay.
What about the economic sanctions that are stealing all of their money from trade? What about those? Just ignore them, pretend they don't exist? What?
Yeah, you don't reward a socialist dictator. We're trying to remove him and replace him. So again,
you're an imperialist. We need to deal with China, we need to deal with Iran, and we need to remove a leader of a country that we don't like, that we don't have any jurisdiction over. You're an imperialist.
Yeah. I mean, you're
a world supremacist, an American supremacist, and a white supremacist imperialist. Would you say no?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say when
you
there
just
is
want to
a
get
dictator,
rid of leaders you don't like. A dictator, right? A dictator that has popular support.
Hey, how about you shut the fuck up for just 1 second and let me talk, please?
All right, I'm so sorry.
Venezuela has a dictator. He is killing thousands of people. That is not acceptable.
Okay.
When there is a dictator doing that,
right,
the UN, the entire world should step up and say this is not acceptable. They should be saying it to China. Like, you have 2 fucking million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps where you're harvesting their organs and doing all kinds of atrocious shit.
Right. And have you heard about immigrants in ICE camps being having their uteruses removed?
Yeah, and that was debunked.
Oh, it was debunked. Right. Okay, interesting. All right, so we need to remove leaders of countries that we don't like. Any other countries you have on that list? Venezuela, what else? Bolivia, you mentioned we might have to go in there. So Iran, you said you want to deal with, you want to remove their leader?
Absolutely.
Okay, so remove the leaders of where else? China?
Something needs to be done about China, because they're literally doing what Germany did in the 1930s and 40s.
Okay.
Like, they're literally putting people in concentration camps.
I agree.
And what the world
why I do not support the state of China.
Yeah, and what the world is doing now is appeasement. It's the same thing they did in the 30s.
Okay.
That is going to become a major issue.
All right, so where else do we need to get rid of the leaders for?
North Korea.
North Korea? Okay. Well, Trump's buddying up to old Kim over there. That's weird.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they're real buddy-buddy.
You think Trump is secretly plotting to take him out?
No, I don't think he's plotting to take it out.
You want him to, though?
No, I think taking him out would be a horrible idea and lead to war. Okay. But you cannot allow extreme, unstable dictators with nuclear capabilities to run rampant. Like, that makes the entire world unsafe. And I think the entire world knows that. And America just happens to be the fucking world police. So it's kind of falling on us.
Give me another country that you think we should invade or occupy.
And now you're twisting it to say invade and occupy.
Well, remove the leader for whatever. Just give me some.
I mean, like, no, going in and just removing leaders like Hillary Clinton and Obama did with Gaddafi was a fucking horrible thing. It just doesn't work.
Right. It doesn't work when Democrats do it, but when Republicans do it, it's great, right?
Did I say Republicans? I said the UN. Like, the world needs to be coming together on this.
Okay.
I'm not saying Trump needs to go in guns blazing. I'm saying, Trump should be at the UN saying, hey, this is going on. We need to stop it.
So then you should vote for Biden.
Why? Biden's fucking senile and corrupt.
But Biden has more respect from world leaders.
No, Trump, he does not.
Trump, on the other hand, is
that.
a global laughingstock, right? He's, withdrawn from so many international treaties and organizations and conversations. But you think all of a sudden in his second term he's going to flip the switch 180?
You realize that your beliefs on that subject are untrue. Like,
okay,
the world does not respect Joe Biden. Joe Biden taking money from Ukraine in exchange for foreign policy, taking money from China in exchange
Trump taking money from Saudi Arabia in exchange for foreign policy. Next.
Oh, where's that? Where's the details of that?
I'm guessing, again, you don't get that in your news feed. But I would rather discuss things that, we can actually have a conversation about. So you want to depose leaders of Venezuela, Bolivia, China, Iran, etc. That's cool. You're an American supremacist. Would you say so?
No.
Right. Okay.
No, but I believe basic human rights should be worldwide. Like
basic. Now what is the basic human right? Give me what all human rights should have all across the world. Give me that. The Bill of Rights, primitive art.
It's very simple: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
No. That doesn't mean anything. I want rights.
Yeah, there's certain inalienable rights endowed upon us by our Creator.
There's certain right. No, I'm talking about give me the rights.
Yeah, the rights to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness.
The right to life? What?
Yeah.
The right to liberty? Right to what does that mean? What is liberty?
Well, in these socialist countries, you don't have the right to live. You don't have the right. Like in China, they can just kill you with no repercussions.
Have you heard about the assassination of Michael Ryanel a couple months ago?
And that's an assassination, if you want to call it that. But that dude was a murderer. He was a murderer.
Okay, so we should
admit it.
All murderers should be given the death penalty without trial?
He was an admitted murderer.
Okay, so all admitted murderers should be given the death penalty without trial? Is that what you say?
No, but he was armed.
But he should.
He was armed. He got what was
He was armed, had his gun with safety on in his pocket, and he was lit up 40 shots. That's good.
Yeah, You leftists like to repeat that, but there's been no evidence of that.
There has been evidence. All eyewitness testimony.
All okay, and who were these eyewitnesses? Because
one's an ordained minister.
No, hear this. When the police shooting in Lancaster happened a month and a half ago, there was 3 black women within 30 minutes screaming outside the police station that they just assassinated a 14-year-old autistic boy.
Okay.
And they said they were witnesses. That's why it started rioting in Lancaster, despite none of that being true.
About Lancaster. So we're talking about the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? So the Bill of Rights, right? Now, the First Amendment is life. The Second Amendment is liberty. And then, no, what are the rights that you want? When you say the right to life, what does that mean?
That means that your government can't kill you with no reason.
Unless you're Michael Reinl.
Michael Reinl murdered a guy and admitted to it.
Okay.
It's different. That was a police thing.
So due process is suspended when someone admits to murder?
Oh, honestly, I think due process should not apply to Antifa. I think they are a terrorist group.
Anyone I disagree with is Antifa, and Antifa are terrorists and therefore don't have rights. Right. I get it.
Well,
so
that's
the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone I agree with. Is that your ideology? You have to agree with me to have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness?
No, you just have to not be violent and
Am I violent?
chaotic.
Am I violent and chaotic?
Antifa is, and you support Antifa.
I am not supporting Antifa. I am Antifa. I am an anti-fascist. Am I violent and chaotic?
Yes.
How so?
Because you support Antifa.
I don't support Antifa. I am Antifa. I am an anti-fascist. I am a communist. I am an anti-fascist. I'm an anarchist. Am I violent?
Yes.
How?
You are advocating violence.
How do I advocate violence? You just said we should shoot people that we disagree with. I'm advocating violence? You just said we should depose the leader of Iran, but I'm advocating violence? What's going on here? What violence did I advocate for?
Well, you're advocating socialism, which will kill
tens of millions of people. But killing all Antifas that's not violent.
Did I say kill them?
Well, you said they don't deserve due process. What does that mean?
Lock them up.
Lock everyone up I disagree with. That's what you want?
No, Antifa.
But the right to liberty.
I disagree with all
What about the
people.
right to liberty? You said the right to liberty.
Right. Everyone has the right to liberty.
Unless they disagree with you. No. Unless they disagree with you.
Unless you try to curtail other people's rights.
Well, you just said I'm violent. What have I done that is violent? What am I done that's violent?
Well, I can show you 1,000 videos of Antifa rioting.
Well, I'm not Antifa. I am.
You just said you were not only. You just fucking said you are Antifa.
But you're showing a video of someone else doing something violent. That's me all of a sudden.
Well, if they are Antifa,
show me,
and you are Antifa.
So you're a Trump supporter, right?
Yeah.
So you support Trump supporters like Kyle Rittenhouse going to shoot people?
I support Kyle Rittenhouse because he didn't do anything wrong.
Right. Okay. Do you support the El Paso shooter?
No.
Oh, okay. So when Trump supporters do something violent, not all Trump supporters. If an Antifa person does something violent, all Antifa. Facts and logic. So the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
It's always in self-defense. If an Antifa
it's always
does something violent.
Okay, awesome. So it's due process is suspended when it's someone I agree with, and it's suspended when it's someone I disagree with. But when it's someone I agree with, due process.
No, it's just due process is suspended. From terrorist organizations.
So you don't believe in the life and liberty thing. What about the pursuit of happiness? What is the right to pursuing happiness? What does that mean? Like always being able to get a new job or what? What is the pursuit of happiness?
Whatever makes you happy within the law. And as long as what you are doing
having healthcare makes me happy,
then get a job and buy healthcare. No one is going to stop you.
Right. Okay. What about the people that won't hire me or the people that won't hire me that have insurance benefits? What if they stop me?
Why won't they hire you?
What if they just don't like me because I'm trans?
Well, that would be illegal. Sue them.
Okay.
You already have that protection under the law.
With what? How am I going to sue them?
File a lawsuit. Pretty simple. You don't even need a lawyer. You can just go to the clerk of courts and ask for the paperwork.
Okay. Now, is that lawsuit going to pass? Am I going to win?
Probably, yeah. Discrimination lawsuits are taken very seriously.
How do the judge or jury know it's discrimination? What if the other person's defense is, I never said that. I just don't want to hire him. What if that's their defense?
You'll get paid. It's much cheaper to pay you off than it is to take something like that to court.
Okay.
But I mean, you can keep making excuses that people won't hire you, whatever, but keep trying. Like,
so there's 70 million unemployed people in this country that are filing for unemployment.
I mean, due to a pandemic, yeah.
Right, right. And they don't
not
deserve
normal
healthcare?
Circumstances.
They don't deserve healthcare?
Oh, did they lose their healthcare? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's lost their healthcare because it's illegal right now to take someone's healthcare. It's part of the pandemic, part of the CARES Act.
Right.
Your healthcare can't be suspended right now, dumbass.
Right. Okay.
So,
So poor people don't exist. There have been no loopholes. That law is absolute. There's no loopholes.
Poor people absolutely exist, and they absolutely have fucking healthcare too.
It must be nice living in such a bubble. Like, I go outside, like, all my family members, we don't have health insurance. Like, none of us.
Why? Why not?
Because we're poor. We can't afford it.
Why can't you get a job?
Most people in my house do have a job. They don't have health insurance.
Then why are they poor if they have jobs?
Do you know what the minimum wage is?
Why are they working minimum wage jobs? There's no excuse in this country.
I love it, dude. This guy is great. I love you. Can we do more of these?
Is nobody in your family capable of framing houses? Because I guarantee you that pays more than minimum wage.
So people are going to go frame houses in the midst of a housing crisis and a pandemic?
The construction industry is fucking booming.
Right.
In case you haven't noticed.
So we live in a rural town. What are we going to do? How do we get involved? You just go buy some wood at Home Depot and just start building? What do we do?
I'm not saying that's your only. Go to school. Get a CPA
in a pandemic.
Become a CPA.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, online. You can.
Now, where do we get the money to go to that school?
Federal government.
Okay.
Student loans are guaranteed. If you apply for a student loan to go to school, you will get it. Guaranteed.
And is that not indentured servitude?
Nope.
Right. Of course. All right.
No.
So anyway, let's go back to the whole Antifa should all be in jail thing.
No,
should I be in jail?
Keep going on. No. Maybe.
You think I should be in jail for what? Wrong thing?
Advocating the destruction of the country. Like,
when did I advocate the destruction of the country?
Every video you make. Like yesterday, you literally said you want to see the destruction of this country, and you're an anarchist. So,
okay, I'm advocating for the destruction of the country, right? And I should be in jail for that? Why? Wrong thing?
Because it would destroy the country.
So wanting to destroy the country destroys the country? Huh.
Why
is the country destroyed yet?
Okay. Why should you be allowed to take measures to destroy the country?
I'm not taking measures. I'm a podcaster. I make YouTube videos. What measures am I taking?
You're Antifa. You burn down buildings. You burn down businesses. You punch innocent people.
I don't punch innocent people.
Antifa does all the time. You're Antifa.
Okay. So, okay, again, Trump supporters have killed people. You're a Trump supporter. You kill people?
No, but Trump supporters.
Oh, right. So it's everyone I disagree with is a murderer and should be locked up for wrong think. People I agree with, case by case. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
But Trump supporters are people that are voting for a politician.
Okay.
Antifa members are just fucking terrorists that burn shit.
I'm voting for Biden.
And you're fucking stupid for that. But
okay, but because that Antifas are not voting, I'm voting for Biden. So does that mean I'm exempt? Am I no longer violent now? What's going on?
What? I don't. You're making 0 sense right now.
Now I'm making 0 sense, right? Okay. So you said all people I disagree with should be locked up.
No, never said that. I mean, you could try to twist my words, but no.
Well, do you disagree with Antifa?
Absolutely.
And you think they should be locked up?
I think they should be labeled a terrorist organization and dealt with in that way.
Okay, so you think they should be locked up, right? And you think I should be locked up? So saying the words "I am an anti-fascist," that's wrong thing. I should be locked up for being a terrorist now.
Have you ever done anything other than say I'm Antifa? Have you ever?
I'm a podcaster.
Have you ever gone out in support of Antifa?
What is gone out in support of
Have you ever gone to a protest?
I've been to many protests, yeah.
Okay. So you've committed violence.
I've committed violence. Where's that leap? That's a leap of logic. Going to a protest is violence? What about the First Amendment? You love the Constitution. What about the First Amendment?
Yeah.
So going to a protest is violence?
Yeah. But Antifa is incapable of peaceful protests.
Right. Okay. That's why 93% of the protests in the last 6 months were peaceful, because
93% of
violent.
The BLM protests, not Antifa
right.
protests.
They're connected. They're the same thing. So anyway, the study looked at all protests, not BLM versus Antifa. There was no distinction in the study. But anyway, so going to a protest is violence. So let's define protest. What is a protest?
If 7% of Trump rallies were violent,
what is the protest?
Would it not be a fucking problem?
I guarantee you the number is higher than 7%. What is a protest?
A protest is a peaceful assembly.
Okay.
And protest.
So I went to a protest. You said I went to a protest, therefore I'm violent.
Were the people with you? That were any buildings set on fire? Were objects thrown at cops?
No.
Did people have their teeth knocked out?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I live in a small town. There was like maybe 15 people there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a violent person who should be locked up for wrong thing?
Yes. I mean, you
I love how I just get you to say this. You're so easy. Holy shit, you're so easy. I love you.
A member of Antifa saying, I don't condone violence.
What does that mean? I'm a member of Antifa?
Okay.
What does that mean? Antifa, a member?
Antifa saying, I don't condone violence is like a Klansman saying, I don't condone racism.
Awesome. Okay. So I should be locked up for wrong thing. I haven't committed a crime, but you think I might maybe commit a crime in the future and therefore lock me up?
Well, if you are supporting criminals, yes.
I don't support criminals.
So you disavow Antifa.
I don't disavow Antifa. I disavow people that do violent acts in the name of Antifa, just like I disavow people who do violent acts in the name of communism, just like the Soviet Union.
Okay, so you disavow Michael Reinl.
Yes. You can go watch the first video I made. That does not mean he should have been assassinated by police.
Maybe, maybe not.
But you're telling me that due process should be suspended for people you disagree with. I think that's weird. I believe in the First Amendment to the Constitution.
No, you need to stop twisting words.
I'm not twisting words. You just said yes when I asked you.
If Antifa would be labeled a terrorist organization along with the Ku Klux Klan, you would be liable.
Why? How can it be a terrorist organization if I'm not in an organization? I have a flag on my wall. I'm liable for a flag on my wall?
If you had an ISIS flag on your wall, yeah, you would be liable. Yeah.
Even
if you never talked to an ISIS member, you would be liable for the flag on your wall. Yes.
I disagree with that. I believe in free speech. If someone has a swastika flag on their wall, they shouldn't be liable. I believe in free. You don't believe in free speech?
Of course I do.
But you just said you want to lock people up for wrong thing, and that I should be liable for a flag on my wall. You believe in free speech?
The second your free speech starts infringing on the rights of others, yeah.
So my flag on the wall, like, does that trigger you, and you just want to call the cops or call the manager because it triggers you?
Oh, no. That's retarded.
Right. But you just said I should be locked up for a flag on my wall. You said I'm liable for a flag on my wall.
No, I said if Antifa is labeled a terrorist organization, then yes, you will be liable for that.
For a flag on my wall? And you want Antifa to be labeled a terrorist organization?
Absolutely.
So you want me to go to jail for a flag on my wall?
Maybe not you, but definitely like Antifa needs to be labeled a terrorist organization.
Okay.
All they do is commit violence.
All they do? Well, I just told you I went to a protest with 15 people. We talked to the sheriff and I got his phone number and we had a good time and we went home. I should be locked up for that?
No.
Okay, so not all Antifa people should be locked up then.
If Antifa is labeled a terrorist organization and you continue after that, then you're going to get
what do I continue? What am I continuing? Sitting in my bed having a flag on my wall?
How do we know that's all you do? Because apparently Antifa doesn't exist.
I never said that. No, I don't think anyone ever said
that. Joe Biden did.
Antifa is an ideology. That does not mean it doesn't exist.
There's no organization. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
There's no organization. I am not a part of any organizations. I am a fucking podcaster, dude.
But
you want me to go to jail.
But there clearly is organizations of Antifa.
There are organizations that label themselves anti-fascist, yes. Does that mean Antifa is an organization? No. I believe in the English language. Maybe you don't. Maybe that's what one of the big issues here is. You just don't have that much of a, linguistic education. That's possible. But Antifa being an organization would imply that there is an organization named Antifa. There is no organization named Antifa. You are trying to link me to people in Portland. I live in North. Yes, that is Rose City Antifa. You are trying to link.
There's no organization named Antifa.
Yes, there is none.
Named one off the top of my head.
Now, am I in Rose City Antifa? Are people in Michigan part of Rose City Antifa?
No.
What about people in Pennsylvania? Are they in Rose City Antifa? No. So when you say Antifa is an organization, you're saying everyone's in one group, right? And that group should be labeled a terrorist organization. And even people with flags on their walls should be liable for that because you don't believe in free speech. Me personally, if someone has a swastika flag, they shouldn't go to jail. If someone has a KKK memorial museum in like their spare room in their basement, they shouldn't go to jail. I think it's weird. I think it's creepy. They shouldn't go to jail. You want to send people to jail for wrongthink. I think that's weird. I am pro-free speech. You are anti-free speech. And I think that's crazy.
I know you have a hard time understanding English.
No, buddy.
It's about actions.
You anyone can go rewind the tape. You already fucked yourself. If you want to apologize or try to come up with another reason, okay. But we have 5 minutes here, 4 minutes here.
It's about
Let's wrap
actions.
this up soon. 4 minutes. What else do you want to talk about? You want to have the last words? What else?
Well, you can admit by saying that, I was right this whole time. I think chat kind of realized it.
Right. Chat totally realized it? Okay.
You've been just hung up on this Antifa thing. And
yeah, because you said I should go to jail.
You've offered no counter arguments, nothing.
I did. I said, I have a flag on my wall. I've not done anything violent. You say I should go to jail for a flag on my wall?
No, I keep saying that. And you just, no, yes, you did. No, I keep saying, if Antifa is a terrorist organization and they continue
and you support Antifa being labeled as a terrorist organization, you support that.
Are they not one? I mean, do we not?
They're not an organization. They're not terrorists. So, but you support Antifa being a terrorist organization, which means you support people like me being liable for the actions of others that I am not organized with and that I've never met, which means that you are against freedom of speech and you also are against freedom of association. Should Donald Trump go to prison?
Your opinions.
Should Donald Trump go to prison because people he were close with went to prison?
No, because he was not associated.
Why am I guilty by association? I'm guilty by association right now. Why is that? Why am I guilty by association?
By being a part of something.
But I'm not a part of something. I have a flag on my wall and I'm a YouTube podcaster with 20 viewers.
Okay, so you're not Antifa.
I am an anti-fascist.
But are you Antifa?
Yes. Those are the same thing.
Thank you. And there's Antifa organizations across the country
that I am not a part of
that are loosely affiliated, and they are known for committing violence everywhere they go.
I dispute that. Maybe in right-wing media circles, maybe. I've met anti-fascists. They gave me some free food. They showed me around the city before. Are they violent?
I'm sure the entire chat right now can type in Antifa violence and find literally thousands of videos of Antifa committing violence.
And anyone can probably type in Trump supporter violence and find the same. But anyway, thank you for popping on here. My favorite part was when you said that you want Trump to be elected because you made like 6-figure salary and you fuck the poor people. That was my favorite part. I support freedom of speech. I think you should support freedom of speech. I hope you continue watching my videos. Maybe you'll learn a little bit about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness if you do watch my content morehand. But again, if you support people being sent to prison for a flag on their wall, then chances are you are not in support of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Chances are you're just a dullard.
Yeah.
And I gave you the opportunity to express the fact that you're a dullard.
Actually, no, you talked over me like an idiot.
I did not talk over you. All right, go. You get the last word. Go.
I mean, I could go on for hours.
You got 2 minutes.
Time right now. Oh, I got 2 minutes.
You got 1
minute.
All right.
Yeah, last word. If you claim to be a member of an organization.
I never claimed to be a member of an organization.
Okay, if you claim to be Antifa, Antifa commits violence on a regular basis, and you do nothing to stop that, you're liable.
Okay, so me going on my podcast and saying I disavow this, is that enough to stop that? What do I have to do? Go to I have to drive to like Denver, Colorado and like jump in front of like someone and act as a human shield. That's how I have to get out of it. Like, what? You're such a fucking idiot, dude. But anyway, thank you for showing up. If you want to debate me again later, that would be great.
Antifa commits violence. I don't condone that. Antifa is wrong. You'll never hear that, though.
I've said that multiple times. But thank you for watching. Watch more of my videos. You clearly don't know much about me. I would suggest studying more about communism because you don't know much about that either. Look up anarchism.
I clearly should. I know 10 times more about communism than you. You never even read the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, because again, I don't really care about that shit. Anyway,
you live in a delusional reality.
I live in a delusional reality where people shouldn't be sent to prison for wrong think. Call me delusional.
You're stuck on that. You lost every other argument we had.
I lost the other arguments. That's fine. That's fine. See, the reason why I do these debates is because I like to learn how people think. I don't care about losing arguments. I don't give a shit. Like, oh no, I lost. Oh no, what do I lose? Nothing. I'm gaining watch time. I'm gaining viewers. I'm gaining ad revenue. I don't see any losing.
You didn't learn anything. All you did was talk over me and give non-answers.
No, I learned a lot. I learned a lot because you said you have a 6-figure salary, and that explains why you don't care about black people or poor people. That explains why you think.
No, shut the fuck up. When did I say I don't care about black people? See,
all the time.
You fucking crazy leftist.
You said you don't give a shit about COVID. You don't give a shit about black people. You don't give a shit about anyone. You don't give a shit about the people that live in Venezuela. You want to topple their regime. You want to go in there and occupy them.
You see how you put words in people's mouths.
No, I know. I let you say it yourself. Anyone can go watch the tape. But anyway, thank you for watching, everyone.
You're fun. Such a fucking idiot.
If you want to debate me again tomorrow, let's do it. Oh, they rage quit. They just rage quit. Oh my God, they rage quit. Dude, I love it. I love it, man. I love when they just rage quit. That's great. Awesome. Jesus. Oh, you fucking idiot. And then they close the browser. Dude, when I got this guy to, and I love that I was able to, now I get the last word. So this is awesome, right? But like, this guy literally said I should be sent to jail for a flag on my wall. And he believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you for watching. You can't say I don't debate people. You can't say I don't debate. So I'm a free speech absolutist. I'm a free speech enthusiast. And it appears that Primitive Archer is not. So with that, we will meet once again another day.